All right, so we have the recording going. So again, welcome this evening. This is the second of two service unit coordinator trainings that we're going to host talking about the 2025 cookie program. So I'm really excited about this year, mostly because there are no major significant changes. And also just again, getting to offer this program to our Girl Scouts. So for those of you that may not be familiar, my name is Emma Miller, and I am the Director of Product Sales for the Girl Scouts of Central Illinois. So I get to work very closely with each and every one of you, and I strive to make that as positive of an experience as possible. So I do want to thank you again for joining us this evening. Just a couple of housekeeping things. As you heard, I did start the recording. I'm doing that for any of our fellow service unit coordinators that might not have been able to join us in person on Sunday or this evening. I understand this is a chaotic time of year on top of the fact that we're also doing fall product deliveries. I specifically picked this week because we would have been clear by a couple weeks for fall product delivery had we not extended the sale. And so I was not anticipating having double duty. So I do appreciate you guys, especially taking time this evening on top of fall product delivery. So thank you for that. Because we are recording, I am going to ask that you remain muted. However, I will be pausing periodically on each of the slides to ask about questions. Feel free to also use the chat feature, and I will visit those when I ask for questions. But otherwise, feel free to ask any questions you may have. I am going to go ahead and take myself off camera. It helps not distract me, and it also saves on bandwidth a bit, and that way we can have the best presentation possible. So I'm going to go ahead and take off my video, and we're going to go ahead and get started here. So before we dive into the cookie program, I did want to take a minute to share the training opportunities for you. So you are here this evening at the Service Unit Coordinator Training number 2. I wanted to share, and I'm very excited about the fact that we are able to offer in-person regional trainings this year. So I'm excited to visit each and every one of our areas and talk a little bit about cookies. I may not be the staff member present at your delivery. I have deliveries on the brain. I may not be the staff member present at your training. It may be Sarah Tate, but one of the two of us will be at the training along with your regional program specialist to go through and chat about the cookie training. So I will mention that these in-person trainings are designed to kind of take some of the pressure off of you as our service unit coordinators. But I also understand that getting into December is also means we're getting into Christmas concerts, holiday parties, all kinds of activities. And so I will also be recording a training to offer via our website. And I also would encourage on Sunday, one service unit coordinator mentioned, I know a bunch of people from my service unit can't go or aren't going for whatever reason. Offering a service unit coordinator training as a cleanup may be a great idea, but you can also refer your troop leaders or troop volunteers to our website for that recording as well. So those dates again are regional. If volunteers want to travel, they're welcome to attend whichever training works best for them. I do also want to highlight that December 9th and December 17th are digital cookie and smart cookie trainings. So these in-person trainings are designed to speak more on the key points of the program, how cookies works, kind of the ins and outs of the cookie program. Then the digital cookie and smart cookie trainings are going to be offered to really give volunteers a deep dive into both of those systems. So if volunteers are looking for more of guidance on digital cookie or smart cookies, they're going to definitely want to catch either the December 9th training or the December 17th training. I will also be recording that as well to share on our website. The final thing I want to highlight on this slide is that we are going to be offering a virtual Girl Scout and parent guardian training. I think it's important to give our Girl Scouts a tour of the digital cookie site that they'll be using. So we will do a walkthrough of that with our Girl Scouts and their adults on December 19th via Zoom. So rocking couple weeks there talking about cookies, and I hope to see all of you at your specific region's training. So before we Does anyone have any questions about the training? All right. Hearing none, we'll go ahead and dive on into the cookie program. I did want to highlight that the program will formally begin on February 7th with the direct sale portion when cookies are out and about in our communities. The cookie program will run through March 23rd. It does share the same theme with the fall product program, is the embrace possibility. But for the cookie program, the mascot is a bit different with the panda. So I don't necessarily always share our council goals with our troops, but because our service unit coordinators are extensions of myself into each of your service units, I do think it's important to share the goals that we are working towards. So as a council, we're working towards gross cookie sales of about 6.4, almost 6.5 million, looking at a per girl average maintaining at about 253 packages per girl, and looking to have 4,272 or more girls participating. So again, this program is really vital to teach the girls those 5 skills, money management, decision making, all of those different key skills that we talk about. And it's more than just a sale. It's a really important program for our Girl Scouts. Before diving into 2025, I think it's important to look back. Last year was certainly an interesting cookie season, and I appreciate all of you weathering that storm with me. We did see a pause in the online Raspberry Rally cookie. We also saw an increase in our cookie box per price. So we went from $5 to $6. But with that, we also saw an increase of troop profit from 60 cents a box to 65 cents a box, which would be 90 cents for our opt out troops, which we'll talk a little bit about later. We also debuted the GSUSA digital cookie system. I know that created its own particular set of headaches, but this year GSUSA has made some minor improvements to the site, nothing that's going to impact our user experience from last year, but hopefully things that will speed up and smooth out some of those kinks that we ran into during the program last year. That takes us on then to 2025. First and foremost, I'm very excited to announce that we are going to be offering a new trip in addition to the Disney trip and or the MacBook Pro that we've offered in the past. This year, girls who sell 3,000 or more boxes can now choose between a Universal Studios trip, a trip to Disney, or a MacBook Pro laptop. So very excited about changing it up for some of our Girl Scouts. This year is the last season for Toast Yay. So this year is the last time that this cookie will be for sale. After this year, this cookie will be sunset, and then we will see a brand new variety for us in 2026. I have no idea what that cookie may be. Several councils have asked GSUSA, and they're just saying stay tuned. So we will let you know as soon as we know. I do also want to note for those of you that are fans of the s'more that our other baker, Little Brownie Bakers, produces, this is the last year for that variety as well. So if you are a fan of that, you may want to stock your freezers up with both of these varieties before they disappear and a brand new cookie arrives in 2026. We are going to see a GSUSA digital cookie improved experience. I don't know quite what that looks like yet. We don't have access to digital cookie, but I am excited to hopefully see some of those issues or bugs worked out. And besides, when we talk about troop finances, we do have a change in the troop bonus structure that I'm really excited to bring to the group. Many of you are, actually all of you on the call are veteran service unit coordinators. You're very familiar with the responsibilities that you're undertaking by being the coordinator. First and foremost, training troops and getting sales material distributed. Again, as we talked about earlier, we are offering the in-person trainings as a council to help alleviate some of that lift that we're asking you to take care of with a training. But it may not hurt effort to offer some sort of a cleanup training or a meeting where troop volunteers can swing by and pick up some of this sales material. So hopefully that sales material arrived around the first week of November. It would be things like the troop envelopes, parent permission forms, troop permission forms, the very large troop envelopes. Order cards will be arriving separately, and those will distribute when troops are picking up their initial order. You also help us in the background by supervising online product or reward orders. I know some of you are in Smart Cookie helping our troop volunteers with any questions or checking on things. And so I appreciate you guys in the background there in Smart Cookies helping out with that. You also, another really key besides training is cookie product deliveries, specifically the initial order delivery. I am going to ask that you have your delivery location secured by December 9th. If you need help, you can always reach out to me and I'm happy to work with you. Even if it's the same place as years before, if you don't mind just shooting me an email and saying, hey, same place as last year, and letting me know which delivery date you would prefer. We're going to take a look at the timeline here, but delivery will begin on January 31st, and then it will pick up again on February 3rd through February 6th. So that way everyone has cookies and are ready to go by February 7th. Also at that delivery, you'll help, and by printing those delivery tickets, you'll be there to help oversee the product pickup, and you'll also collect and hold on to any signed troop agreement forms. At least you collaborate with us. Tonight you're collaborating with me. You'll work with your membership and program team staff at your deliveries. And the day of your delivery, if you'll give any signed troop agreement forms to the staff member present there, then we will take and hold on to those at our regional offices. Any questions about the service unit coordinator responsibilities before we take a look at the cookie program? Awesome. Hearing none, seeing none, we'll keep rolling along. As a reminder, feel free to add anything to the chat that you may have a question about, and I'm happy to tackle that as we move through here. So let's take a look at some of the council cookie basics. First and foremost is the cookie timeline here. So I want to highlight just a few dates. The rest of these dates will be in the front cover of the Troop Cookie Coordinator Guide that will be out in your local offices in the next couple of weeks. The deadline that I've given program staff to put that stuff out is the first week of December. So be on the lookout for guides and some of the other materials that you may have at your home set out at those offices. So on December 9th, excuse me, our troop volunteers will receive their Smart Cookie registration email. That gives them about a week then to be taking a look at their troop rosters in Smart Cookie, making sure that all of their girls are present, they're in the right service unit, all those good details. So that way, a week later on December 16th, girls will receive their digital cookie registration email. So that does also mean that girl online sales will begin on December 16th as well. So if a Girl Scout emails grandma who lives in Florida and grandma orders direct or in person, or excuse me, offers shipped only order, then as soon as that order is paid for and processed, that order will be sent to grandma likely in a couple weeks, if not sooner. If a customer chooses girl delivery or in-person delivery, then those customers will get a notification that says, thank you for your order, and your cookies will be available on or after February 7th. So that does bring, it is tough during this time when it comes to determining with social media posts. So I just ask you to use your discretion if it's brought to your attention. Posts that say, my daughter's cookie link is live, click below to take a look. Those are acceptable. But if they start collecting orders or, saying stuff about you can order ahead of time or things like that, that's when it gets sticky. So I just ask you to use your best discretion when it comes to questioning social media posts. And just, if you have a question or want to double check, you can always reach out to your local program staff or myself, and we're happy to work with you on that. Then January 2nd, our initial order and booth scheduler will open. This opens, it's not due at that time, but it gives our volunteers a chance to get in and start looking around, seeing what booths are available, and playing with their initial order before it is due on January 13th. Prior to that initial order due date, though, we do have the Cookie Rally, our annual celebration of the cookie program. So I do encourage any of you who haven't already to go ahead and register for that. There's more details on our website or in the adventure guide. At Cookie Rally, I will have a little booth that will be there to assist and or help with troop volunteers placing their initial order. And we're going to do that via Smart Cookie, but the rest of the orders are due January 13th by 11 p.m. That will be in the Smart Cookie system. So then we have a couple weeks, and delivery then will be January 31st through February 6th. And then February 7th through March 23rd is our direct sale. Cookie booths are happening. Cookies are out and about in our communities. March 17th through the 26th will be when reward orders are placed in Smart Cookie. And April 29th then is when rewards will be available for pickup at our local service centers. So we talked about all of this essential cookie paperwork a little bit earlier, the envelope, the guides, the forms, everything but the guide should have been shipped to your home directly from ABC. The order cards will be mailed out at a later date, and you're always more than welcome to swing by your local regional office and pick up a chunk of coordinator guides to have to give out, and or encourage your troop volunteers to swing by and pick up one for themselves. All cookie varieties are going to be $6 a box again this year. I'm really happy that we're able to offer that kind of flat pricing across the board because it does mean that troops can exchange all varieties at their local cupboard or service center. That does include the caramel, gluten-free caramel chocolate chip. Because they are $6, they can be easily swapped out for any of the other varieties as well. So that really does help our troops ensure that they have the right balance of cookies when it comes to their inventory. It is again 65 cents per box this year. Opt-out troops will earn 90 cents. That's our troops that are juniors or older. We are going to talk about opting out a little bit later in the training. And now I'm proud to announce our $150 troop bonus. So we did add $50 to the troop bonus this year. So in order for a troop to receive that $150 bonus, they would need to order a minimum of 1,000 boxes on the initial order while maintaining a 200 box per girl average. The only other stipulation in order to receive that $150 bonus is making sure that the troops' remaining cookie balance is paid in full by April 8th, which is the date of our final ACH. Speaking of finances, checks can be made payable to Girl Scouts of Central Illinois, GSCI, or the local troop number, but all cash and checks should be deposited into the troop account. We do offer 3 automatic withdrawals for our troops. So the first ACH will be on March 4th. That is 1/3 of the initial order balance for a troop. So if a troop chooses not to place an initial order, they won't have an ACH on this date. Also, each of these ACHs are, a troop's balance less any digital cookie payments. So as a troop is having online sales, that's working to offset what a troop will owe during these automatic withdrawals. So we do encourage, if troops have questions or unsure and want to prepare for their ACH, they can always reach out to their local membership or program team staff. They can also reach out to myself or our finance team, and we're happy to help them figure out what their ACH will be for that time. The second ACH will be on March 18th, and that is 1/3 of a troop's end of February balance. Again, less any digital cookie payments. And the third and final ACH will be on April 8th, where the remainder of a troop's cookie balance will be taken from the troop. The last day for a troop to return any checks that have been returned to them for insufficient funds or an NSF check. The due date to bring those into council is May 27th, 2025. And we can help work with a troop and their bank if there are any fees incurred from that NSF check or anything like that. The most important key that we want to make sure when we're talking to our volunteers and to keep in mind ourselves is receipts. Anytime that cookies or money is being exchanged between a volunteer and a girl, two different Girl Scouts, two different volunteers. Anytime there's any sort of product or money movement, there needs to be a receipt made. If a receipt is not offered, then we need to empower our volunteers to ask for a receipt. And we definitely want to make sure that our volunteers are holding on to receipts. And that's really critically important because of the outstanding balance side of things. So when a troop volunteer is experiencing issues collecting money from a Girl Scout, they are welcome to fill out an outstanding balance form on that Girl Scout. They'll return that to their local service center by April 3rd. And that gives us time then as a council to adjust what we are withdrawing from your account on that final withdrawal. So, if a troop is experiencing issues and they don't have money from that Girl Scout, we don't want to overdraw their account by taking out too much. So when a troop fills out this OSB form and turns it into us, then we're able to adjust their ACH so that we're not withdrawing money that they don't have. So in order to be able to work with the Girl Scout on her outstanding balance, we do need to make sure we have a signed parent permission form, as well as all receipts between the Girl Scout and that troop. Anything about that Girl Scout needs to be included with that outstanding balance form. What's great about this is it does take away the responsibility of money collection from the troop volunteer so they can concentrate on continuing to work with the Girl Scout on having a great experience. And the council then works with the Girl Scout and her adult on collecting that money. So it's a nice way to keep, tensions low and experiences great still within the troop level. So speaking of eligibility, a Girl Scout is eligible to sell cookies as long as she doesn't owe any money to our council and completes and signs a parent permission form. Similarly, our troops are eligible if they owe no outstanding debt to the council and at least one of their volunteers are registered. Again, assumably and preferably the volunteer that will be working with the Girl Scouts and the cookies as well. Any questions before we take a brief look at the smart cookie system? All right, we'll keep rolling right along. So as a reminder, our volunteers, so that will be both you, our service unit coordinators, as well as our troop volunteers, will receive your invitations on December 9th. So again, just like last year, our troops are going to be, needing to determine whether they need to do something in smart cookies or in digital cookie. So basically, the tip that I have is anything that has to do with cookie inventory, ordering, the management of inventory will be done in the smart cookie system. So when a troop needs to update their information, like their zip code or how many girls are selling, or if they're going to opt in or out to rewards, they will do that in smart cookie. When they're looking at entering an initial or a planned order, that will be in smart cookie. Reward order will also be in smart cookie. When our volunteers are giving cookie credit to girls and making transfers and doing booth transfers, all of that is done within smart cookie. Really, there's only two things that were done in smart cookie before that are done in digital cookie, and neither of those things are required of a troop. So the troop may not need digital cookie at all if they don't prefer. So digital cookie will be good for troop virtual booths, which we'll take a look at. Also, if the troop wants to look at rewards or Girl Scouts want to look at rewards, they will be in digital cookie. But as I mentioned, in order for a troop to be eligible, they do have to have at least one registered volunteer. And one of the many reasons for that is because in order for a troop volunteer to be able to access digital cookie, they do have to have a GSUSA ID number. So that does require the volunteer to be registered so we have a valid GSUSA ID number. We will again have that helpful handout that we shared last year that was a table that shared a breakdown of, if I want to place an initial order, where do I go? If I want to place a planned order, we will have that as one of the references that are available for troops to pick up at the regional troop trainings that we're doing, as well as on our website for download as well. The initial order then will be placed in the Smart Cookie system. And again, that order is due January 13th by 11 p.m. So usually our troops are worried about either, ordering too many cookies or ordering too few cookies. So as a council, we recommend that a troop uses 75% as their model. So they can choose to either order up to 75% of last year's total sales or 75% of last year's per girl average, but without exceeding 200 boxes per girl. 200 boxes per girl is pretty easy for girls to sell. Any more than that can be a challenge. Our per girl average as a council is 253 boxes, but 75% is a good, safe bet for troops to order in. So that way they have inventory when the program begins. And if they need additional, then they can use a planned order to offset any inventory that they may need. So when a troop uses that 75% recommendation and stays within the 200 box per girl average, sales success are more likely because there won't be any missed sales opportunities, and girls will have cookies when the sale launches, which is also when customer interest is at its highest. So we've seen the data and we've seen that girls can sell up to 40% more when they are offered an initial order, which then also translates to troops earning more profit as well. So as a council, we do offer tools to our troop leaders. We will have initial order estimate spreadsheets on our website. I'm working on finalizing those now. One spreadsheet will be for existing troops, so they will actually be able to reference last year's total sales or last year's per girl average, and use that to build this year's initial order. If it's a new troop, we use the number of girls they plan on having sell plus their program level, whether they're daisies or cadets or where anything in between. And the spreadsheet then will help them estimate that based on the program per girl average. If a volunteer is feeling really ambitious and would like to do the initial order estimation by hand, we do have an estimation guide on pages 22 and 23 of the Cookie Coordinator Guide. But I recommend, use the easy button whenever you can with cookies, and use that spreadsheet that we've already put together for you. Do really want to make sure that, especially when talking to new troops, that we stress the importance of the initial order, because the initial order really is kind of a marker for how the program is going to look overall. And if a troop wants to have cookies to sell the first couple weeks of the program, an initial order is highly recommended. Even if a troop's initial order is just like a case of everything, they at least have something to start with. Our cupboards locally will have cookies that are coming in, but those cookies are used to fill future planned orders and things like that as well. So think about, with deliveries and how there's been issues in the past and things like that. We're not foreseeing anything major happening, but if a troop walks in and takes 300 cases out of the cupboard, that's 300 less cases we have for future planned orders or walk-in orders that could have been an initial order with no impact on that inventory at all. So it's just a good idea if you're planning on getting a load of cookies to start off with, place that initial order. I know that our troops may be nervous then because it's a lot of cookies to order. And again, the goal for all of us, volunteers, Girl Scouts, and our council, is to have all of our cookies sold and have no inventory left by the end of the program on March 23rd. So that does take some good inventory management practices. And I know our veteran volunteers have all kinds of tips and tricks to share. If a troop leader or a troop volunteer is new, we do have some inventory management resources on page 25 of our guide. But here are also some things that we can encourage our volunteers to keep in mind. First and foremost, ordering on commitments. If a volunteer sends out a text to 5 parents asking if they need cookies and only one responds, the volunteer should only be ordering the cookies for the Girl Scout who responded. We also want to make sure that there's always a receipt that's being signed before a parent or guardian takes possession of those cookies. We know now, it's been longstanding and established that our council does not accept cookies back from our troops simply because our baker does not accept cookies back from us. So a good way for a troop to maintain good troop inventory is to also make sure that they are not allowing their parents to return cookies to them as well. Allowing demand is always a great way for troops to keep current with their inventory management. And when troops are unsure of what to expect, what we can tell them is that customer demand is the highest during the first 2 weeks of the program. Our first 2 planned orders of the cookie program make up 75% or 3/4 of all of the planned orders that we make in 6 full weeks. So 75% of those orders are made in weeks 1 and 2, and then the other 25% is dispersed between weeks 3, 4, 5, and 6. So a troop volunteer should definitely not be ordering as many cookies on March 17th as they were ordering on February 9th during their planned orders. It's also a good idea to stay current with the troop's cookie inventory. That is the goal of the smart cookie system, is to allow a troop to maintain their cookie inventory, but some troops prefer to keep track of that off-site, whether it be in a Google Doc or an Excel spreadsheet or a notebook or something like that. It's up to the troop, but again, using smart cookies is a nice, useful tool. And then a troop can always use a planned order to make sure they have the appropriate cookies that they need on hand. And a planned order is the only way to guarantee that girls will have cookies when they need them. If we don't know, nobody places a planned order, we're not going to order cookies because, again, we're going to order on commitments from troops. So a troop, if they place, planned order week 1, they don't have to plan or place another planned order. They could use every other planned order. It's really a pick and choose situation. Some troops may not do a first planned order, but may do a second and a fourth. But maybe they skip the first and the third, or whatever works for the troop and their inventory. But there are 6 opportunities for them to place a planned order. Any questions before we chat about digital cookie? Quiet group tonight. So digital cookie for Girl Scouts. Again, girls will be in digital cookie and digital cookie only. They will get their emails to launch their sites on December 16th. That will come from email at email.digitalcookie.girlscouts.org. And so they no longer have access to Smart Cookie at all. So that does mean that for our volunteers that the mimic or imitate feature has also gone away, which I know I really miss, and I'm sure some of you miss as well. But troops do or will have access to digital cookie to take a look and help their Girl Scouts if need be. So I am going to be offering a parent and guardian training for Girl Scouts on Thursday, December 19th. That'll be a virtual meeting, and so the link to that training will be on our website and also in the troop newsletter that we send out, so that troops can share that with their parents. We'll also have it out on our social media and really make sure that our parents and guardians are aware. I will also be recording this training so that if anyone has questions, they'll be able to refer back to that training as well. So if a Girl Scout does not get that email on December 16th, they can always reach out to customer care. Sometimes the volunteer may reach out to you and say, hey, Emma is not showing up on my roster. And you can always feel free to then reach out to me and let me know, and I'd be happy to get her uploaded. So once a girl gets that email, then she'll be able to set up her site, work with her adult to approve it, and then start her sale as early as December 16th. Our digital cookie customers then have three different options when it comes to shopping from Digital Cookie. They can choose a shipped order where the cookies are delivered directly to a customer's home by FedEx. There are shipping rates that we will take a look at on the next slide. I do want to note that the shipped order is a minimum 4 package order. And again, there are shipping rates that apply. The second option is in-person delivery, which used to be called girl delivery. And this is when a customer orders online, but then the Girl Scout will deliver cookies to that person in person. And then finally, cookies can be donated to the military via gift of caring called Operation Cookie Share. What's great about Digital Cookie is there is no physical money to collect. All options are paid via credit card. So it's a nice contactless way for a Girl Scout to participate in the cookie program. So, as mentioned, there are shipping fees that apply. While I am happy to say that there are no shipping fee changes in 2025, I do know that the fees are rather high. You can see the breakdown of that below. But I am also happy that we are able to offer delivery to all of the locations you see at the bottom of your screen for just a $5 surcharge on top of that. So in the past, it's not been an option. So it is a cool option for our customers, but shipping is quite high. For in-person delivery, this is really ideal for local family or friends, neighbors, teachers, anyone that a girl is close to and feels comfortable delivering to. What I really like about in-person delivery is that it does require a parent approval. And the reason I like that is because in today's age of everyone sharing things on social media, if I share my daughter's link for Central Illinois, but then my sister lives in Arizona and she shares that, and other people then start sharing it, she could have customers from different states reaching out and saying, I'd like to buy cookies. Or if there's someone that a girl or a family doesn't feel comfortable delivering to, they can decline that order. The order does need to be approved or declined within 5 days of that order. Unlike the days when we were with Smart Cookie, the order can be approved via that email that a parent or guardian will receive, but it can also be approved through the Digital Cookie app by the Girl Scout or her parent. The parent will also receive daily emails reminding them that they have orders to place, and so that's a really nice feature as well. If the parent doesn't get to the order in the 5 day time frame, then that order will either be donated or canceled based on what the customer told the system when they were placing an order. Once that order is approved, then the Girl Scout will deliver those cookies to their customer. And unlike the shipped option, there is no minimum order when it comes to in-person delivery. So a troop has two different ways that they're going to assign inventory. Some troops choose to pre-assign cookies to Girl Scouts. So the example there is I'm going to give all three of my Girl Scouts 50 boxes each. They can use those 50 boxes to fill those in-person orders they're getting online. And then when they're out of cookies or out of a certain variety, they can come back to me and order more. When I do that, then I'm going to go ahead and assign those 50 cookies over to girls in Smart Cookie and call that good. Other troops will do it on an order by order basis, where the Girl Scout will come to me and say, hey, I had an order for 8 boxes. I'll give her those 8 boxes, make the transfer in Smart Cookie, and move forward. The next time she has an order, we'll repeat that process. Regardless, we do need to make sure that cookies are being transferred to girls because that is then what gives the girls credit to earn rewards and make sure that they're getting the rewards that they deserve. So once an in-person delivery is marked complete, then Digital Cookie will actually send that over to Smart Cookie and give them credit for that order. So our troop volunteers then can view their Girl Scouts orders from Digital Cookie, but they can also see it from Smart Cookies on the order tab as well. I want to pause here for a minute to see if we have any questions before we talk about delivery. All right. Delivery again will begin on Friday, January 31st. Most service units then will take a pause on Saturday and Sunday. There are a couple of regional locations that may be open for sorting on February 1st, but otherwise, cookie deliveries will resume on Monday, February 3rd through Thursday, February 6th, and then all cookies are delivered and in place by the time the sale goes live on February 7th. So we are going to work with you as well as council staff and our distributors and our warehouses to make sure we have delivery locations and dates. It is my goal to have these dates taken care of prior to the holidays, and that includes getting them confirmed with our delivery agents, our warehouses. So I do ask that you send those locations and dates to me, even if it's the same as last year, via email, and that way we can collect those and get moving on those. Just some tips that you can consider sharing with your volunteers. Make sure to bring a vehicle large enough or even multiple vehicles, a caravan for cookies, to make sure that they're picking up all of their cookies. Most of you at the service unit delivery sites require a troop to pick up all of their cookies at one time. So we do want to make sure that people are bringing a large enough vehicle or multiple vehicles in order to pick up their order and come with a nice cleaned ready to go car. So if a troop volunteer has questions about what size vehicle will hold, like what their car will hold cookie wise, they can go to page 24 of the cookie coordinator guide, and we have it broken down there by car style. We also want leaders to be aware that they will sign and submit their troop coordinator agreement form at that site. We also want to remind them to pick up order cards, envelopes, receipt books, and any other cookie paperwork. If you haven't gone through all of your paperwork, it's a good idea to bring that with you to the delivery. But we also will make sure that the staff member present at your delivery will bring paperwork along with them as well. That way the troops are covered from wherever they may be. So our service centers in Bloomington, Decatur, Peoria, and Springfield will be receiving their cupboard cookies on Thursday, January 30th. Champaign and Quincy are a little bit different because they run out of warehouses, so their cookies will already be there. But we will be getting those deliveries. That is the cupboards then that troop leaders can come into and pick up cookies either for a planned or a walk-in order. Alyssa, that is a good question. They will do, we will have troop coordinator agreements at the cookie training for them to fill out. But if for some reason we miss a troop at that training, or they haven't already submitted a troop agreement, then we will be collecting them from the delivery sites. So we'll be collecting as many as we can at that training, but the delivery is a last case scenario to pick those up. Good question. Thank you. Are delivered, then our direct sale will begin February 7th and run through March 23rd. So this is when planned orders kick in here. An order does not need to be placed in cases. A troop can order by package. So as a reminder, with the initial order, troops do order by the package, but it is delivered by the case. With planned orders, they will get their delivery down to the package. So we do offer 6 total planned orders. There's one due each Sunday evening of the sale. The first planned order is due February 9th, and the last planned order would be due March 16th. So we do want to make sure that volunteers are choosing the cupboard that they prefer. Some of our areas for the first couple weeks may have express cupboards or volunteer cupboards, as well as their cupboard at their local service center or warehouse. So we want to make sure that our volunteers are picking where they want the cookies to go. And as a reminder, troops will be using Smart Cookie to place their planned orders. Are going to be our service center cupboards in Bloomington, Decatur, Peoria, and Springfield. Those will be open Monday, February 3rd through March 26th, 2025. At these cupboards, we will take walk-in orders, so a troop can just come in and say, we need XYZ cases or packages. We'll also trade out or swap with a troop. We do encourage that troops call ahead, especially if they're going to be traveling from afar to get to this cupboard, just because we would hate to see them make that, take that time and effort to come to the cupboard only for a variety not to be available. We will offer extended hours at these locations on Fridays, February 14th, 21st, and 28th from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. After Friday, February 28th, then we will resume our normal 8 to 12:30 hours on Friday. And Saturday, March 1st, our cupboards will be open as well from 9:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. Champaign, the full service cupboard will be out of the Hutchcraft warehouse in Urbana. I am working with staff in both Champaign and Quincy to set these hours of operation, and we will have those finalized and ready to share by the troop trainings. That way, everyone is aware of when and where they can go to pick up their cookies. Same thing in Quincy. They are full service. They're out of the Quincy storage warehouse. Both of those locations function just like the service centers, just maybe with more limited hours due to warehouse requirements. But that is a place where troops can go for a walk-in order, swaps, things like that. Unfortunately, there aren't going to be extended hours at these locations simply because the warehouses need staff to be present and aren't always willing to have staff to cover for those extended hours. Our express cupboards are maintained by volunteers. Some of those are actually maintained by those of you on this call. So typically those cookies arrive on a Friday. I do mention to our volunteers, especially virtually, since we never know quite where they're from, that there is one Quincy Express cupboard that gets their cookies on Thursdays. Volunteers then who run that cupboard will work with the troop volunteers who have signed up for pickup to coordinate pickup on that. And then once all the cookies have been picked up, that cupboard is closed. Express cupboards do get, it's ordered by the package, but delivered by the case. So there are sometimes a few cookies left over if a troop wants to place a walk-in order or a swap, but usually those options are very limited. Cupboards are open anywhere from the first week to the first 3 weeks of the 6 planned order weeks. Then starting week 4, 5, and 6, all of our planned orders will be picked up at your local cupboard. What our volunteers can expect is that we will order on an as-needed basis, so we rely on troops to tell us what they need by placing a planned order. Just as in the last couple of years, our delivery standard has changed a bit with ABC Bakers, and the delivery time is dependent upon the size of our council order. So it could be up to 10 business days before those cookies are available in our warehouses. So best case scenario, what a leader or a volunteer can expect is that if they place a planned order on Sunday night, they will be able to pick it up later that following week, but it could potentially be into that second following week. So that's why the initial order and all of the subsequent 6 planned orders are extremely important this year. Before we dive into cookie booths, do we have any questions? All right. Cookie booths are a great way for girls to be out and about in the public. We like to think about high traffic or high visibility areas. As you are aware, as a council, we work with several locations. For example, Walmart, Sam's Club, the mall in Decatur, the mall in Champaign, those kinds of areas to offer cookie booths. But troops are also more than welcome to go out to other local businesses, mom and pop shops, things like that. As long as a Girl Scout is welcome as a patron, Girl Scouts can host a cookie booth there. So booths can begin on February 7th. GSUSA is working on contracts with GNC and Walmart for booth opportunities. Walmart booths have been, reached an agreement, but they are not quite open for me to sign up for yet. So we will do our best to secure council sponsored booths, but we do always encourage troops to find their own locations as well. So Walmart and Sam's Club are going to operate the same as they did last year. So GSUSA has a national agreement with both Walmart and Sam's Club where the council has to make the request with each Walmart and each Sam's Club store. Once we get approval from that store, then I can enter that into Smart Cookie as a booth opportunity for our troops. So as I mentioned, we do have the national agreement, but the sign up for Walmart booths is not open yet. So I don't know which weekends we will have available. I'll know more once that request tool opens, likely late next week, if not the week after. I am hoping that we will have as many Walmarts as we can once we go into training season, so I can share a little bit more about what weekends. But we are probably looking at not being able to have booths at Walmart the first weekend because they will have those blacked out due to Super Bowl. So it will likely be the weekend after, which may be blacked out for Valentine's Day. I'm not sure yet or not. But as soon as I can start requesting, I will do that. Sam's Club is working a little bit differently. So our council program specialists are going into each of our regional Sam's Club stores. And what they're doing is they are booking all of the available booth time slots for the cookie season under the 8,000 troop for that regional area. If you're in Champaign, you'll see an 8,400, or excuse me, 8,200. In Peoria, it'll be 8,400. That is not because the council is taking all of those booth slots. That is because that's telling Sam's that we're reserving those. And then those booth times will be available in the Smart Cookie booth scheduler, just like Walmart. Outside of those weekends that we offer via Smart Cookie, booths are not allowed. Now, each year we have people who come out of the woodwork and say, it's not a Walmart weekend, but a troop is there. And sometimes troops may have connections that we're not aware of, and they ask and they're given permission. But beyond that, we can only offer what we sign up for in Walmart. We have 35 Walmarts, and then at least 7, if not 8, Sam's Club in our council footprint. Not all of them are great at honoring our requests or even paying attention to them. So as they approve them, I will make them available. I know last year people were frustrated that I was releasing booths during the day, but it is simply my goal to make the booth available as soon as I get confirmation. And so what I do is I enter those booths and then I email that region via Smart Cookie to let them know that I've entered this booth opportunity. So booth locations that our council manages, like Walmart and Sam's Club, will be in the Smart Cookies booth scheduler. Online reservations will begin on January 2nd at 9 a.m. January 2nd through the 5th is a first come, first serve reservation time period. Each troop will be allowed 2 booths. They will get 1 premium, which will be a Walmart or a Sam's booth, and 1 non-premium booth. After that, on January 6th, open reservations will begin and troops can go back in and add any additional Walmart, Sam's Club, or any other booths that they would prefer. Again, we'll be adding locations as soon as they're approved, so they will be added continually throughout the season. And again, troops can also find their own locations if they aren't fond of the locations that we are offering. Last year as a council, we offered nearly 1,800 different booth time slots for girls around the council. Averages about 200 to 300 booth slots per region. And so we're doing the best that we can to offer all of the booth options that we can without stepping on the toes of troops as well. Their own location, we do encourage them to enter their information in Smart Cookie because they can take advantage of the free national marketing that's offered to them on the National Cookie Locator. So last year we had over 20,000 hits of customers looking for cookies in their area. They see, oh, Troop 1234 will be at Walmart from 9 to noon. I'm going to be there at 9:30, and they will go there and actually use that to find troops and their sales. So the Troop Cookie Coordinator Guide, pages 38 and 39, have the instructions for entering custom booth locations. Again, a booth option for troops is as long as a Girl Scout is a patron or allowed to be a patron, troops are welcome to sell there. So if it's a bar and grill and it is open to families until say 9 p.m. when it becomes 21 only, girls can have a cookie booth there until 9 p.m. If it's a location like a dispensary or a liquor store where girls are not welcome as patrons, girls and their troops should not be hosting booths there. So this is the National Cookie Locator link. It's as simple as entering a zip code, and the customer is given data and addresses of where cookie booths are at. One thing I do want to mention with the scheduler is that the time ranges for booths are not a suggestion. When we say like 9 to noon at a location, that's not, you can come from 10 to 11 and set up. We're really aiming for troops to take advantage of that full time slot from 9 to noon. What we've run into quite a bit is that customers will reach out to our council, and it gets increases each year, and lets us know that, hey, I looked up a booth and it said Troop 1234 was going to be at Walmart from 9 to noon, and I was there at 10:30 and there was no one there. I understand that things happen and things pop up. However, we do, as good Girl Scouts, need to make sure that we're releasing those booths to other troops. If you know ahead of time, go into Smart Cookie and release that booth, simply because then if a customer goes there, they're upset when they made a trip out of their way to pick up these cookies and then there weren't cookies available. The same thing goes with, booking time slots and then not showing up. If you are, if it's made aware to us that you're a repeat offender of no-show booths, we may be reaching out to the troop and talking with you and seeing what's going on, because we really do want to make sure that we're offering the best information to our customers as possible, and also honoring booths, because every booth that gets signed up for your troop is one less opportunity for another troop. And if you know you're not going to be at a location, open that up for other troops. Another reason to use the booth scheduler in Smart Cookie is because this year we will be using our Secret Shopper program again this year. So secret shoppers are pretty rare and we won't be able to visit every booth, but you'll definitely, as a troop, improve your chances if you enter your troop information in the Smart Cookie booth scheduler, because these secret shoppers will be using the National Cookie Locator for their area to find these booths. So there are only 150 patches that will be handed out across the council, and that's going to be based on showing booth etiquette and sharing cookie goals and cookie knowledge. So I wish every troop good luck on this, and I'm excited to see the secret shopper results. Things that will be in digital cookie now instead of Smart Cookie. So this is a link that will help troops make sales. So for example, if you know you're going to be at Walmart on Friday in February, then you can open up this troop virtual link so that customers can shop online, place an order, and then go and pick it up that Friday that you're at your Walmart booth. So this is usually hosted in addition to a regular in-person booth. The cookies are paid for virtually, but then picked up in person. So again, we recommend that a troop enter that as a pickup location in the booth scheduler in Smart Cookies so that it can be found by customers. So all of those cookies, except for anyone who may visit the booth in person that day, will be paid for online, so there isn't any money to collect. The leaders will then use the Smart Cookies booth divider to assign those cookies to girls sold, and that way girls are getting credit for cookies they sold at a booth. We're going to go through the troop virtual booth link at those Smart Cookies and digital cookie trainings I talked about a little bit earlier in December. The troop ship only link is another way for troops to get sales for their troop without really doing much more than putting their zip code into digital cookie. So, again, this is then the second of two things that's been moved from smart cookies to digital cookie. So, this will allow customers to order cookies for a shipped or donation order only. And this will be available on the National Cookie Locator beginning February 21st. So, when the National Girl Scout Cookie Weekend kicks off February 21st, these links for your troop will rotate based on an algorithm. So, when a customer goes in and types in their zip code, not only will they see the booths available to them, but they'll also be offered links based on your troop's zip code for direct ship orders. So, a customer will place that order, pay for it. Your troop gets the credit with no impact on your inventory. Then once those are set up, then those will rotate based on an algorithm. And then they are offered direct ship only, so there is no impact on a troop's inventory. And then at the end of the program, troops can go back in and divide those orders up among their Girl Scouts to give them a little extra boost for extra rewards, possibly. I'm going to go through the troop ship only link with our volunteers during those digital cookie trainings as well in December. Operation Cookie Share is another great opportunity for our girls. Troops do earn $1 per box donated, so they will see that 65 cents per box appear automatically. The additional then 35 cents to make it $1 is added manually at the conclusion of the sale by our finance team. And then I work with Operation Santa, Soldiers, Angels, and a few other local VA hospitals and military bases then to deliver cookies to all kinds of veterans as well as current military men and women serving both here and abroad as well. When it comes to entering Operation Cookie Share donations, there's several different ways that a donation can be made, and that does impact then how they are entered by the troop volunteer. So if a donation is made to a Girl Scout in person or through in-person delivery, they will need to enter that into Smart Cookie. And the instructions for that are on page 37 of the Troop Cookie Coordinator Guide. When a donation is made at a booth, the volunteer will enter all of the donations and then divide that amongst the girl using the booth divider in Smart Cookie. And finally, if a donation is made via a shipped only order, that automatically transfers over to the girl. So there is no work on the volunteer's part when it comes to tracking shipped donations. Any questions before we take a look at our patches and recognitions? All right. So girls can earn rewards based on three categories. First of all, their total boxes sold, their digital cookie sales, and finally, their Operation Cookie Share sales. Girls can participate in any or all of these categories to earn rewards. So troops can also choose to opt out if a troop is junior or older, or if it's a multi-level troop with at least one junior Girl Scout. They may opt out of the rewards as long as the troop is in agreement, so it may be taken to a vote. What this means then is that troops are opting out of receiving all rewards except for patches in exchange for extra profit. So that does include any of the physical reward items as well as cookie or travel dough, as well as free memberships. So that is one thing we do want to make sure that we're mentioning is that it does include free memberships. When a troop opts out, they get an extra 25 cents per box to earn 90 cents per box. And this option does apply to the entire troop. It is unfortunately not a girl by girl option. So the troop must make that decision as a whole. I do ask that any of the troops that intend to opt out will make that note and choose the opt out option in Smart Cookie via the troop information tab. And I will be showing our troop volunteers how to opt out during the Smart Cookies and digital cookie training in December. I do ask that troops establish their decision to opt out by January 13th, the same day that the initial order is due. That will then help me to kind of forecast and make decisions when it comes to our rewards. The reward order is the final phase of the cookie program. The one thing that seems to trip up our volunteers is that, unlike the initial order, where it does roll up and submit on its own, the recognition order does not do that. A troop leader or troop volunteer does need to make sure that they go into the system and make the reward choices for girls and then submit that reward order. If they don't do that, when I roll everything up and submit to our baker, then their troop order is not included. And then they'll have to place a late reward order with our council to be filled as soon as possible. So a volunteer will use the Smart Cookie system to enter those troop reward orders, and guide for that is on page 40 in the Troop Cookie Coordinator Guide. So Alyssa asked, is free membership still a reward option this year at the 250 box level? Alyssa, yes, it is. And we're going to actually take a look at the reward levels here in just a moment. So hang tight with me here. So if I go through and have to place or finish up a reward order for a troop that's already submitted, I will choose cookie dough instead of a physical reward item. So troop reward orders are due March 26th. And after that, there will be a delay based on shipping and things like that in order to receive their troop reward order. Rewards then will be available for pickup on April 29th. As a reminder to both you and our troop volunteers that rewards are cumulative. So that does exclude the 1,800 box level if a girl earns that Disney or Universal Studios trip or the MacBook Pro. They will forfeit that $350 gift card just to offset the cost of the trip or the laptop a bit. Cookie dough also accumulates, so depending on her choices, a girl could earn up to $55 in cookie dough for 500 boxes sold. So cookie dough is an online credit that girls receive at the end of the program, and that can be used for GSCI sponsored events, programs, camps, travel. If you know you're going to Japan, then you can use cookie dough to pay towards that. You can also use cookie dough to pay towards a membership registration, towards the cookie dough only items that we'll take a look at, or for anything in our boutiques. A troop volunteer is welcome to use a Girl Scouts cookie dough as long as they have a signature on the cookie dough permission form that we have online and available in our shops as well. But we do need to have that signature in order to use a girl's cookie dough for the troop. Here on September 20th, 2025. However, if a Girl Scout wants to use their cookie dough online code to shop on GSUSA's website, they do need to submit a request to receive an online code. In order to get that code and turn it back around to the girl and give them enough time to shop, all of those code requests for online orders are due by September 5th. After that date, we can no longer convert cookie dough to that GSUSA code because the turnaround time is too tight then for the girl to be able to use that. Travel dough is another option that we're happy to offer this year. So that is another opportunity for girls to help offset the cost of their trip. So travel dough can be used on council-sponsored trips, travel camps, destinations, things like our Japan trip that's coming up. What's great about travel dough is that it does not expire for 5 years. So if a girl knows that there's a trip 3 years from now that she really wants to take, she can start earning cookie dough to save up and pay for that trip. So cookie dough earned in 2025 will expire in the September of 2030 when the rest of that year's cookie dough, Nutty Bucks, and then travel dough will expire as well. So just like cookie dough, girls that choose travel dough will get a travel dough code emailed to them at the end of the program. Girls will receive an option to choose between cookie dough or travel dough, wherever cookie dough is offered. And just as a reminder to our volunteers, travel dough is non-refundable. So if a Girl Scout pays towards a trip that she then ends up not taking for whatever reason, that it is not refundable. If for some reason council were to cancel that trip, we would find a way to figure out how to get that travel dough back to the girl. Most importantly, travel dough cannot be transferred between Girl Scouts and cannot be signed over by a Girl Scout to a leader. And so it cannot be transferred from girl to girl either. Here's a quick look at the rewards for this year, the lineup for that. As we mentioned a little bit earlier, free membership is an option this year. It is at the 250 box level as it has been in past years. And I do just really quickly want to highlight, and we're going to highlight this with a specific slide during the troop training. But I want to highlight how much of a bargain that really is for our Girl Scouts this year. This year, they're receiving a $45 free membership for selling 250 packages of cookies. We worked really hard, and we being our president, Kelly Day, our chief financial officer, and myself worked really hard to put together a reward program that we were able to keep the free membership at its current level and give Girl Scouts a bargain this year. And so I really do want to highlight that, and I'm proud that we're able to keep it at the same level we've had it at years past. However, I do want to go ahead and plant the seed that I won't be able to keep it at the 250 box level forever, especially once it goes up to its final price of $65 per member. I am going to have to revisit where that gets placed in the cookie reward lineup, just to make it fair and equitable for all Girl Scouts. So it will definitely be this way for 2025, but I cannot promise where it will stay this in future years. So we're good for 2025, and do know that for future years we will work as hard to keep it at an achievable level as possible. So Alyssa, thank you for that feedback. I'm glad to hear that you're happy that it's staying this year. I think that we're all going through kind of a transitional period with this, and so whatever we can do to alleviate it as possible is what we're going to do. And so I'm very happy that we're able to provide a heck of a bargain for our Girl Scouts for that free membership at 250 packages. Kelly, I think I saw you sneak in on the call a little bit ago. Do you have anything you want to add about that, or did I cover it appropriately?
Nope, perfectly. We just want to encourage everyone to sell at that 250 and earn the membership, because it really is it's for next year's membership, which will cost other people $45. So just I would really encourage people to try and sell 250 to earn their free membership.
Absolutely. Take advantage of that while you can, for sure. So thank you, Kelly, for that feedback. And thank you all too, volunteers, for understanding. The one thing I do while we're on the topic of increased dues, and I mentioned this at our other in-person service unit coordinator training, I know I've heard rumblings that different volunteers have mentioned that they're gonna show us by you're gonna raise the membership dues and we're not gonna sell cookies, and we'll show the council. Well, unfortunately, that's gonna have the exact opposite impact that people want, because 100% of the money that our council collects for dues goes right back to GSUSA to pay those dues. We don't collect a fee on top of that, and we turn that right back around to pay for dues. However, all of the cookies sold, that money stays 100% locally in our council. And so that goes towards paying for staff, paying for properties, keeping everything going, making sure that we can keep great programs going and things like that, and offer the best programs and experiences for girls that we can. So when a troop is going to show us or show that they're unhappy with this free or not free membership, with the membership due increase, it's not really going to help, because instead it's going to penalize the council even more, because we're not seeing the same level of sales. So just as you may hear people complaining or sharing their feedback, I understand it is a punch in the wallet, and it's going to go up for next year and then go up for the last year, and kind of finalize at least for at 65 for a minute, but it does not help anyone if a troop can always choose not to sell. We don't force anyone to sell, but doing it to show us because we raised membership dues is not going to have the impact that they're thinking it does. If people have questions, we do have a page, and the number is escaping me right now, but a full page in the Troop Cookie Coordinator Guide that shows the breakdown of where the money goes from our cookie program, and it all stays here locally. So I do just want to encourage you to discourage any of that kind of talk and show them that breakdown in the guide, and just let them know that cookie money stays here, but dues money does not stay here. So just kind of addressing what we've heard out and about in the public. Let me get back to my PowerPoint here. These are the cookie dough only boutique items that will be for sale for girls. So we'll have a silicone 3D panda keychain, a panda journal, an Embrace Possibility pencil case, a panda neck pillow, a large panda plush. This is going to be larger than the panda plush that girls can earn in the program, as well as a panda blanket. I'm sure that my retail team will also be bringing in all kinds of other panda fun themed things for the shops as well. Awesome. Kelly, thank you so much. So page 30 in the Troop Cookie Guide has how the cookie crumbles, which is the financial breakdown. It shows you what percent goes back to pay for the cookies, what percent goes to programs and fees, and what percent goes elsewhere as well. So thank you, Kelly. That's page 30 there. We will also have the booth sale and my first cookie sale patches for sale in our boutiques for $1.50. The my first cookie sale patch is adorable this year. It's really super cute. So these are art images of what the patches are going to look like, but it's very, very cute. Brings us to resources and training material. So on ABC Smart Cookie, there's a resources tab. In Digital Cookie, there's resources. ABC Baker also offers a Flickr site and a YouTube channel. We also, as a council, will have all of the forms I've mentioned, Digital Cookie tip sheets, training videos, recordings of videos, and anything that a troop needs to have a successful cookie program is available on our website, getyourgirlpower.org, in the Cookies Plus section. So we're really working on growing that and adding to that now. The training recordings will come up as soon as we're done with trainings, but that is a dynamic page, so it is going to continue to change and grow as we get closer to the cookie program launch. I also wanted to highlight here just the people that you can go to if you have questions, or if you have troop volunteers who have questions, you can point them in the direction of their program specialist. So our customer care team is always more than willing to help. And your local program specialist. So in Bloomington and Peru, that would be Meg Anderson. In Champaign, that's Kelsey Parker. Tiffany McGee is new to Decatur, and I'm excited about her energy there. Tiffany Kaufman covers Peoria. Patria Maroya is in Quincy, and Abigail Smith is covering Springfield. You're also always welcome to reach out to your local membership engagement coordinator, or MEC, as well as our Girl Scout website and the ABC Baker Help Desk support line or email. And then finally, I am always willing to help you if you have any questions. My email and phone number are there as well. So that actually concludes our training here. I am willing to stay on if